I was drafted when I was 18, and the 18-year-old, they started drafting 18-year-olds, and I was one of the first to go out of the Becker's High School. And I had my choice of joining the paratroopers, or the infantry, or the Army Air Corps, and I chose the Army Air Corps. I flew 31 missions, but I don't know, I had a record of the missions that I flew in an A-20 and the missions I flew in an A-26, but after I was shot down, they never sent them records home. They were, I don't know, so I just don't know exactly how many missions I flew in each plane, but I was shot down on my 31st mission, and that was over Worms, Germany. What was bailing out like? It was scary. No, we got, we was on that Worms mission, and when we were briefed that morning before we took off, and that was Sunday morning, on the 18th day of March, 1940. When I looked through the periscope sight that we had on the A-26, the plane, the lead plane in front of us was getting some flak pretty close, and it slid over to the right, and that put us right in line with the anti-aircraft guns, and we got a direct hit in the right engine. I must have bumped it and the door flew off. And when I looked out, that's the first time I saw the ground after we'd been hit. I thought if I had 100 feet left from the ground, I was just going to crawl out and just to clear the plane. But when I looked out, we must have been 2,000 feet in the air, 1,500 to 2,000 feet in the air, so I went out of the plane right now. And I didn't count. They told us whenever we had, they'd talk about bailing out, they told us we should count to 10. But when I bailed out, I didn't think I had time to count. Besides, I thought I was afraid I'd get up to 7 and forget where I was at and start over. So I just watched the plane until I got quite a ways away from the plane, and then I pulled the ripcord. But when my chute opened, I thought I got my teeth jerked out because I must have been in this prop wash or something, and my chute opened and I floated down to the ground. Well, when I hit the ground, there was 3 trees pretty close together, and I was trying to duck them trying to pull the short lines on the chute to clear them trees, which I did. But when I hit the ground, a gust of wind filled my, the wind never spilled out of the chute. A gust of wind come along and blew it up against a tree, and it deflated, and so I remember I sat there for a couple of minutes, and then I started taking my chute off, and 2 Germans come, and when they got a little closer, I put my hands up in the air, and I was caught. We were at Doodle Luft. That was a real nice camp. It had, there wasn't too many prisoners in there, and we had, they could take a shower, and we got fed twice a day, and but that didn't last too long. The last prison camp that I was in, There must have been 1,500, I don't know how many. It was a huge prison camp. And they had barracks in there. And one time I went in and looked in the barracks and it was crowded. And we got out, we were liberated on the 29th day of April, 1945. That's when an American tank stuck his gun. I stayed in the Air Force. After we were liberated, they kept us there for, I don't know, the war was over. The war ended on the 7th of May. So we was at Bahar for, I think, 2 weeks. And then they put us on a boat and we come back home on a boat.